Good morning. It's your vote counts. I'm Scott Mitchell, Representative Munson, Representative Martinez in this morning. Thank you both for being here. We all know what happened this week. The question I'm going to have is, when it comes to the death penalty in Oklahoma, and there are other people on death row, what's next?
Yeah. First, I want to share my thoughts and prayers with both the Howell and Jones families. I will say that I am grateful that the state of Oklahoma did not execute Julius Jones yesterday. As far as the next steps go, I have no doubt that both the Howell and Jones families will pursue whatever options they have available. As far as the death penalty goes, I think there is much room for a dialogue in the state and in this country when it comes to the death penalty and whether or not that is humane and moral for us as a state to execute our constituents and our neighbors.
And it's already crept into the governor's race. So this is going to be an issue that the legislature is going to have to deal with next year, Representative Martinez.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. This is a conversation that's ongoing. I do want to say that my thoughts and prayers are with the Howell family. I hope that we don't forget that their family member, Paul Howell, was a victim of a very heinous crime, and we don't forget that. But I do want to say that you're right, the conversation will continue about the death penalty in this state. I do think that Oklahomans have spoken pretty clearly in the past that they are supportive of the death penalty, and those who commit the most heinous crimes among us should be punished with a capital punishment. That should continue.
All right, there was something else happening this week at the legislature. I think you both were there. It had to do with redistricting. You were right in the middle of this, okay?
I was, yeah.
The Democrats are not happy with how this turned out. So, and the speaker was here last week saying we've been open, transparent, but there's a lot of disagreement about this. First off, Representative Martinez, what happened and what's next?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. So yeah, as mentioned, I chaired the redistricting process. Our once every decade constitutional responsibility has been fulfilled. We have had the most transparent, most open, fair process in state history. We hosted 30 town hall meetings across the state, listening to the needs and the thoughts of Oklahomans, and we were able to generate maps that truly reflect those needs and requests. I'm happy to say that we had a good product. One thing when drawing a map, anytime you draw a line, there's going to be somebody who doesn't feel like they got what they want. Oklahomans won here. We had a great process, and I'm very proud of the product that we have.
Okay, so some of those folks who did not like the map, sitting right here, your thoughts about this, and it's done, it's over with. Your thoughts about the special session?
Yeah, it is done and it is over with, but you know, the concerns that we brought up as a caucus was the slicing and dicing of Oklahoma County. We wanted to make sure we were advocating for Oklahoma County to stay whole, especially the south side of Oklahoma City that is now in a district that is shared with western Oklahoma and the Panhandle. And what we felt was not the best thing to do was take that population of South OKC, removing their power, their voice, in order to have true balanced representation in Washington, D.C. I've said it on this show before that the political and economic demographics of this city have shifted, and we need to make sure that representation is shown there in Washington.
Okay. Hey, Uncle Sugar's sending a bunch of money here. We're going to talk about what we're going to do with it next in our next half hour. Welcome back to part two. Representative Martinez, the entire federal delegation voted against this infrastructure bill with all this money, but it's going to come anyway. Your colleague, Representative Phillips, says, well, I'm going to spend every bit of it, the broadband money, that is. Your thoughts about what we're going to do with all this money coming?
Yeah, so thanks for that question. You know, I totally respect and understand why our federal delegation had a lot of questions about this bill. Washington, D.C. is spending money faster than they can print it, and at some point it's going to be the generation that myself and Representative Munson are from that are going to have to pay the consequences for spending irresponsibly. So I totally get that. With that being said, those dollars have been distributed to states and will continue to be. We should have a robust conversation about spending those dollars on projects that are going to affect Oklahoma long term. There are a lot of infrastructure needs, and I'm confident that we'll spend those dollars wisely.
Okay, Representative Logan Phillips says we can do stuff about education, address mental health issues, all kinds of things with this money.
Yeah, the amount of money that's coming to Oklahoma, or to the state of Oklahoma, when you put together all of the federal assistance and emergency monies that are coming to our state, totals about $13 billion. And for me, that's $13 billion of investment into Oklahomans, into our economy, into our jobs, into the services that are absolutely necessary for Oklahomans and their families to succeed and to be healthy and to live a high quality of life. With this pandemic, we know that the needs of Oklahomans have only grown, and so those federal dollars that are coming to the state of Oklahoma will only be helpful for our constituents.
So the Republican delegation voted against it. You think they'll spend the money?
Oh, they sure will.
Okay, all right. It's an inside joke. All right. So this is it. Both parties do this. Okay. In the meantime, after the special session, there's a couple of months between now and the time y'all come back. It's not that far down the road. What happens now?
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, as we enter the holiday season, we as members and House staff and Senate staff are all very busy preparing for the next legislative session. Once the new year comes, we hit the ground running. So right now we're in the process of filing bills and getting everything ready for this next session that's coming up the first Monday of February. So we will be busy. This is a time to reach out to your representatives and your senators and talk about the issues that you want us to prioritize in this upcoming session. So we will be busy. So reach out to us. It'll be helpful.
Yeah, and by the way, you know who else is going to be really busy? House and Senate staff. They don't get enough pats on the back, right, about all the work that they do because they're about to get busy. Your thoughts about what's happening next, Representative Martinez?
Yeah, I think Representative Munson brought up a lot of great points there. I was actually just reviewing my calendar this morning. I finally got to take a little bit of a deep breath from this year and a half of redistricting that we finished here today, and it is very clear that it is time. It is time to come up with ideas for bills. I've been hearing from constituents about their ideas. It's also a time to review the results of some of the interim studies that happened during the interim and realize if there needs to be legislation coming as a result of those interim studies, what that looks like and what we should be working on. I'm confident that the hard work is being done and it'll show in the bills that are presented this next legislative session.
Thank you so much. By the way, take some time this coming week to be thankful for what you got. We got some really great things in this country. I know we're fussing and fighting, but it's the noise of democracy.
Yeah.
See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.